Hi, my name's Keith Cooper from Northlight Images. This is a Canon PRO-300 and I'm going to cover in this video some aspects about ongoing maintenance and keeping your printer in good health. Question I get asked most often is about leaving the printer on. Now normally if I was going to be using a printer intermittently like this, I would leave it plugged in. It will do an ink agitation and maybe sometimes a cleaning every so often if you've left it for a while when you switch it on, but in general I just leave it sitting there. It'll go into standby, I can fire it up, I can use it. If I'm not using it for longer, then yes, I will switch it off. There's no need to have it. It doesn't save anything really. There is no need to keep it on. In terms of exercising the printer, now, for a big printer like this P5000, Epson P5000, that's a commercial printer, the one that's just sitting in the corner here, that needs using every single week. If I don't use that regularly, I'm likely to get problems with it. It's made for use every day. This is a consumer level printer. It's a high-end consumer level printer, but it's not intended for everyday use. It'll work fine if you do, but I'll come back to some aspects of if you use it a lot in a bit. But really, the P5000, I have a diary reminder that tells me every week if I haven't printed, turn it on, do a quick check with it. I don't need to print a nozzle check. This one, if it need be, I can do a paperless nozzle check, but I need to use it. That goes for big printers like that, but not these. These you can leave a bit more. Now, if I was going to leave it for any length of time, I might, depends on the climate you're in, how dry it is, how warm it is, I might keep it in a plastic bag to keep the humidity levels up. I've heard of people keeping it in plastic bags, but also with a damp sponge in it and things, just to keep the humidity levels up and stop things drying out. If you are somewhere where that is likely, and I'm in the middle of the UK, so the chances of extended periods of low humidity and high heat are still unlikely. Who knows what may happen in the future, but at the moment, I've got no real problems. Biggest issue with these in terms of getting dirty inside is ink buildup and dust. Now dust you can address. I normally keep this one, if I was keeping it here for any length of time, I would keep it with a tea towel over it or a cloth of some sort. You can get plastic bags, covers for them, basically just to keep dust out of it. Dust and ink and ink spray do not mix well. That includes paper dust. So in general, to keep it in good condition, I will make sure that it doesn't collect dust. I will also every so often with an air blower attachment. You don't need pressurized air or anything like this. The kind of thing you'd get, the strength you'd get, I use a leaf blower on it actually, from a bit of a distance. But just open up all the panels, open up everything in it, and just blow air in it and just try and sort of make sure if there's any dust collected and get it out of the way. I'm not sure that's always advised to do it, but just don't use an air can with high pressure air on it. You don't want that. You just want to make sure that it's not collecting dust inside. Depends also on the environment you're in once again. This house is a very old house, so there's always an element of, that's what I would say, very old by, certainly if I was in the US, it would be on the historical register coming from 1888 as it is, whereas here it's in a street of houses built in the 1880s and 1890s. So yeah, these things differ. But yes, there is much more dust in an old house like this. So I always have to be careful with stuff like this to keep it in a bit of care. But what about cleaning and general use? Now, this is not plugged in, not switched on at the moment. The key areas to think about, apart from, as I say, dust build-up, and I've got a photograph here just taken inside looking at the foam strip that you can access by lifting this cover. There's a foam strip down here. Now you can see in looking at the picture, there is a strip, you can see a dark line along it, that's where ink has been sprayed onto it, and you can see some dashes on it at different levels, and that's where borderless printing has been used. Now I don't do much borderless printing because borderless printing is a great way of messing up the insides of printers, whereas the kind of cleaning I might look at here is an annual thing at best for the kind of use I might use a printer like this for, because remember I've got other large printers as well. But in terms of this, I want to be careful about ink buildup on this strip here. Now, the ink from cleanings for this particular printer goes into a pad inside. That's not user replaceable. So if you use printers like this a lot, not only is it going to be expensive in cartridges and things, but eventually you're going to hit a point where the printer thinks that the inside ink absorption pads are full. That is a service operation to fix it. I don't know whether it can be reset easily. Sometimes you can find software to do resets and get a bit more life out of it. But in general, you will reach a point where the ink builds up inside it and there's nothing you can do about it. But there are some things you can do, and this is a detail of the area there. There are some things you can do about reducing the amount of ink. Now, I said when a printer prints a page, if it's doing borderless, then obviously it goes a bit beyond the edge and it sprays, and that ink is picked up on this pad here. But what about the dark bit of pad right at the end? It turns out that with several Canon printers, they print, but also they do a tiny little extra bit of printing into thin air, well, foam pad, at the end here to keep the head exercised and clean. It's not a lot, but over time it builds up. This is why if you're printing with just one colour, it needs to exercise some of the other nozzles, so it will print a little bit. This is the sort of thing that where I'm doing the sort of typical YouTube shock horror type video, I would call this Canon secret ink wastage. It's nothing of the sort, but that's YouTube for you. But anyway, this bit here does pick up ink. What I will use on this pad here, and if you print a lot, do this every few months. I use something like, just kitchen roll, kitchen paper here, and just fold that up and just touch that on here, just gently press on it to absorb any surplus ink. Now, I've not printed much on this, and there was virtually nothing to come off this strip, but this patch at the end here, this is where, after a few times, there is quite a bit of ink absorbed into that pad. Now, this is a relatively light usage. I would suggest that you don't want ink building up in this bit here. You don't need to do this, but if I can get this lot off relatively light usage, if you're printing certainly borderless much, piece of kitchen roll, just do it and just protect it like that. So there we have it. Those are the easy things to do to help look after your printer. Make sure dust doesn't collect, and when you blow the dust out, make sure you get everywhere around it. There's no point for one like this in cleaning the print head. That's a bit more involved. I'll put a link to an article I wrote years ago, which is still relevant, and I update it, about cleaning inkjet printers in general, about what to use to clean them and things. But this is just general maintenance for a printer that is not doing anything wrong, just being used. This is just general to help look after it a bit. Now, I hope that's of some interest, and I hope that helps people. So don't worry too much with this particular printer. If you leave it for a few weeks and don't use it, I've found that this particular, the Pro-300 and the Pro-200 as well, are designs which are very robust in being left. Yes, you will, if you leave it for weeks, you may well need to do a few cleaning cycles. If just one little extra bit here, if you do cleaning cycles, if you do a test, if you do a nozzle check and it comes out as needing a clean, by all means do a clean. If you then do another nozzle check on plain paper, for example, and it doesn't come out fixed, wait. The worst thing you can do, because often it's tiny little air bubbles and things cause this, the worst thing you can do is just to repeatedly do cleaning after cleaning after cleaning. You've done 3 or 4 cleanings, you think this isn't shifting, I'll do a power cleaning, whatever that is. Well, it just wastes even more ink. Do not do repeated cleanings on a printer like this. You will achieve nothing after the second cleaning other than just waste ink. If need be, if after 3 cleanings it's not improved much, leave the printer overnight. it really is important to leave it be, or leave it for a few hours before trying something again. I know it's annoying if you've got something to print, but actually just trying on a printer like this just to clean it will do nothing but waste ink and clog up these pads and generally reduce the lifetime of the printer. So there you go. It is an eminently reliable printer, one I've got some very nice prints of that I should come back to and do some more bits. As I mentioned the other day, if you've got any specific Pro-300 questions, do let me know, and I'll see if I can do a few more little short videos and things looking at aspects of the use of this printer. And who knows, I might do the same for the Pro-200 as well, but that depends. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. Please do subscribe to the channel and pass it on to people you think it might be useful for. Yes, I would appreciate getting some more subscribers. I think anyone who runs a YouTube channel will do, but it's nice anyway. But thanks very much and bye.